for tonight's game, and we know of the 1-2 punch. They have been prolific for Paul and Griffin. Question is, who will step up as the third scorer for the Clippers? For the Grizzlies, once again, Tony Allen will draw the starting assignment on Chris Paul as Lionel Hollins shifted him in game number 4 to the great point guard. So the Grizzlies have blown 2 leads in the losses in games 1 and 3, and the Clippers blew a 10-point lead in game 4, but won in overtime. So a lot of people could say, well, the Memphis Grizzlies could have maybe won the series or had a 3-1 lead. It's been that tight.
It has been so good. I mean, this is what you want to see out of your 4 or 5 matchups. Could have been a sweep either way, could be tied 2-2 either way. Who knows? And tonight could go either way. You love series where teams are evenly matched, and effort is usually the most outstanding key.
So back to the grindhouse, which is where the Memphis Grizzlies have flourished. They had won 11 in a row in this building until they lost the first game of this series. The officials tonight are Scott Foster, Bill Spooner, and Gary Zielinski. And the first possession goes over to the Clippers. Crowd doesn't like Chris Paul, and why would they? Here is Blake Griffin. Caron Butler misses a 3, and will have a foul. And it's against the Grizzlies. Zach Randolph committing the first foul of the game. And the Grizzlies got into foul trouble in the last game, C-Webb, as Mayo had 5, Gasol and Randolph each had 4, as well as Maurice Spates.
And partly because of the first play that the Clippers ran, a double high pick and roll. We've seen that they've had problems with that. Tough recognition on who's supposed to trap that.
Gasol facing Griffin. Plenty of time on the clock. Griffin still without a point. And now they call the offensive foul on DeAndre Jordan. A loose ball foul on Jordan.
I think Griffin got the shot that he wanted on that play. Actually, he was aggressive going toward the paint. Got an open turnaround jumper. Pretty good possession for him, his first possession of the game.
All of Griffin's 86 points in this series have come at the paint. Here's Marc Gasol. He has been an enigma, to say the least, coming in. Hasn't shot much, and he gets the Grizzlies off on top. Randy Foye hitting a 3. Randy Foye, who scored 16 points in the third game. That was his best effort, and he's off to that start.
Great recognition. It's great that he was wide open behind the three-point line. That's what you want to see Randy Foye do. Set his feet, shoot the wide open jumper.
Griffin on Randolph. And Zach Randolph banks it in. Randolph with a lot of clean-up baskets early on for the Grizzlies in the last game.
Memphis fans love seeing that, even though it was kind of a lucky bounce there. Those are the bounces that usually go for Zach Randolph. Love to see him get it started to a good, quick start, 1-for-1.
And here's Caron Butler, and he hits a three. Back-to-back threes by Foy and Butler, giving the Clippers a 2-point lead.
I think somebody should tell Caron Butler he shouldn't be playing and his hand's supposed to be hurting, and maybe he would miss those shots, but he is having a wonderful series here with the hurt hand.
Conley penetrating, and in your view, Conley is a very pivotal guy for Memphis tonight.
In my view, Conley is the key tonight. You ask, why hasn't Gasol touched the ball in the fourth quarter? Why isn't it going into the fourth quarter to the big guys? It has to be because Conley has to be aggressive and be the distributor, much like Chris Paul is for his team late in the game.
Conley, who has been brilliant in the shooting department, but has given way in the fourth quarter, mostly to Rudy Gay. That's where the Grizzlies have had their problems. The fourth quarter, they're not the same team. Trailing by 2 here, and Rudy Gay, last touched by the Clippers. So Gay will inbound with just a little more than 3 seconds on the shot clock. Rudy Gay off to the slow start, still wound up with 23 in Monday's Game 4. Guarded by Butler.
One of the keys Coach talked about was execution, and look at right there. You can't execute a simple inbounds play late in the game. These are one of the things that you get done in training camp. So I know Coach Hollins must be frustrated with the lack of execution. What is it? Nobody's moving around, no balls, no screens, just running around. Right now you have to execute with fast-paced play.
And a tough angle to get the ball inbounds too.
A tough angle, but you know what? You got a pro guy that can throw it in there. Bounce pass it, somebody set a pick.
Tony Allen trying to stay with Paul. Here is Butler, double team, draws the foul. Caron Butler, very smart, with 2 guys on him, draws the foul and will go to the line. Right before tip-off, here is Lionel Hollins talking to his team.
All it takes is us coming out here with the poise and confidence and playing together. We must play together. The ball's got to move for 48 minutes. We got to defend and rebound for 48. Together on 3. 1, 2, 3.
So the free throws by Caron Butler, and the Clippers leading by 4. 2.5 gone by in the opening quarter. Here's Tony Allen. 2-point shot is good. Tony Allen, his biggest scoring game was game 2 when he got 10.
And that's what you talk about being aggressive. Not by Tony Allen, who's taking the wide open shot, but by Gasol. What did Mark do? He took 2 hard dribbles toward the paint, knew he was going to draw help, got it out to the open man. That's playoff basketball.
Here's Foy hitting from 3 and missing. Clippers by 2. And the Grizzlies open is Gasol off the back and misses. Butler fires it up. And the rebound, Zach Randolph. It looks like the Clippers are perimeter shot happy early on.
You're exactly right.
And Gasol makes them pay inside.
And Memphis is inside happy. They're going inside out. Hit 2 jump shots outside, got the ball inside, and that's what you want to do. You want to have a balance and especially involve your best players early.
Grizzlies are 4 for 5 from the field, but the game is tied. Here is Blake Griffin stuffing it through, and Gasol was not going to challenge him and pick up a foul. So the Clippers regain the lead. Zach Randolph setting a screen for Conley, who penetrates, and it's deflected inside. Not sure whether Griffin had it, but Paul's going to score here.
That's what a defensive player can do for you. Get a block shot and start the fast break literally on his own.
And there is Conley driving in. Well, Memphis is getting what they want early on.
You're exactly right, but let's see if they continue with this pace. They've been able to get early what they want early in games. But later in games, they have not been able to complete their mission.
And they're going to call the foul against Tony Allen, his first.
And we know Tony Allen is a little bit of a gambler. Let's see what he does here. He fights through the pick. I still think that's a pretty good call by the official. You did hit the hand, the ball was short, and you have to judge it accordingly. Good call.
Chris Paul misses a free throw. Only his 3rd miss of the series. He's 22 of 25 now. and comes in as one of the top free throw shooters in the playoffs. How about the 9 rebounds to go along with the rest in game 5?
How do you have the smallest guy on the court be the leading rebounder? That just shows you how tough he is, how much he wants to win. And when he came here to the Clippers, he told me he came on a mission no matter where he was going. And right now he's in the middle.
Conley guarded by Paul. Clippers by 3. Griffin on Gasol, and Marc Gasol, who is only 1 for 4 from the field in game 4, has hit 3 of his first 4 shots to bring the Grizzlies to within 1. Here is Butler. Impressive, going in strong. Caron Butler with the slam field goal. He has scored 7 points, and he got off to the great start in the first quarter, scoring 11 of his 14 in the last game.
All because he hit that open three-pointer in the middle of the game. Now you got to come out there, guard him straight up, and what does he do? Give you a great pump fake, quick first step, finishes strong.
Randolph gets the offensive rebound and once again cleans up the basket. That's what Zach Randolph has done throughout this series. Clippers by 1. Griffin still hasn't scored from outside the paint.
Well, the difference is between this game and last game, his first 2 shots are jumpers. Last game, his first 2 shots were post plays.
Randolph going baseline, lost control of it and turned it over. Palming violation on Zach Randolph. So a tight first quarter here at the FedEx Forum. In game 5, the Clippers with a win will advance and face the San Antonio Spurs in the next round. Grizzlies trying to force the 6th game in LA. And here is Butler feeding Griffin. And why is Griffin even attempting perimeter shots?
Thank you, especially when you got a guy like Butler that's so active.
And Reggie Evans and Pondexter hitting a rare basket for him, not known for his offense.
Yeah, and it's really starting with the transition. And I hope Rudy Gay doesn't get caught up into one-on-one ball. He has a mismatch on Young. It might be to his advantage to go to the post, take his time where he can get doubled so he can help his team if he can't shoot the ball.
And the ball knocked away by Gay. Remember, in the first quarter of game 1, the Grizzlies had an 18-point lead that they eventually squandered. As you take a look at tonight's first quarter recap, and a big 1-2 punch for Randolph and Gasol, dominating points in the paint. And we'll have a foul, and they're going to call O.J. Mayo with his 2nd personal.
You have to hate that because O.J. Mayo is really trying to fight through the picks, and you know he's not strong enough to push Reggie Evans out the way. Smart play by Reggie Evans right there to get the referee's attention as Reggie setting the moving screen right there. And I just have, that's a foul. Bad call by the official.
Mike Conley replaces Mayo. Conley has 5 assists as he checks back in the game. Spates picking up Paul at the top. Shot clock running down. Paul's going to have to unload it for 3, and he misses. Pondexter battling for the rebound, and he got it over to Rudy Gay. 16-point lead. Those are the 5 on the floor now for the Grizzlies. Down low to Spates. Fall away.
Michael Conley needs to have the ball in his hand just as Chris Paul does. Chris Paul is going to run his own play and not give it up until he wants you to shoot. And I believe that Conley should have that same aggression so that other guys aren't stuck with taking shots that is not in their game.
Hey, they're 2, 3 in assists in the playoffs with Paul 2nd and Conley 3rd. A long 3 by Mo Williams, and that is his 2nd 3 of the game. So the Clippers already have hit 4 of 10.
You can't go 2 minutes in the playoffs without getting a good shot. It's been 2 minutes, and they have not gotten a good shot yet.
Rudy Gay in trouble. Scores anyway. Tough baseline shot against the double team.
That's a very tough shot, and if I'm a fan, I'm very happy. But if I'm the coach, I'm saying this is fool's gold again. Here we go. We get up big lead, and we start going 1-on-1 or 1-on-2.
First points of the game for Rudy Gay. 15-point lead. Losing the ball is Nick Young into the hands of Mike Conley, and Young fouls Conley, trips him.
That's what you need from Conley. He needs to match the pace of Chris Paul on both ends of the floor. And when you just get going like this, big guys have to watch you. Guards, you know, when the point guard is aggressive, the other 5 guys on the team all have to pay attention to you.
See, Webb, can you imagine the Clippers with Chris Paul not being involved in the offense?
I could, and they would not have won a game in this series so far.
Blake Griffin is back. And so is Marc Gasol. Eric Bledsoe has checked into the game, giving Chris Paul a breather now. Going around Bledsoe is Conley, and the rebound by Griffin.
Good penetration by Conley. That's what you want. Give your big guys a chance to offensive rebound right there. Keep going to the hole strong.
Gay won't let Nick Young get the 3 off. They all remember game 1 when he hit 3 threes in a minute in the 4th quarter. Here is Blake Griffin against Cunningham. Traveling called against Blake Griffin. No basket.
Tough call right there. I think it was very smart of Blake Griffin to take that dribble and gather his feet. That's a tough call right there. I would recommend that Blake does that every time, being that whenever he pump fakes, guys are going to jump over the world trying to block his shot. Good job by him. Just a tough call.
Bledsoe on Conley, now on the switch. Picked up by Randy Foy, who's come back in. And here is Gay with 4 on the shot clock. Here is Gay. Griffin gets the rebound.
That's what you want to see, though, from Gay. Nice jump hook, nice shot middle.
In rhythm, Williams, who has 2 threes, misses. So the Clippers defensively have Bledsoe and Foy and Griffin, Mo Williams, and Reggie Evans. Rudy Gay. And it's tipped up and in by Pondexter.
Great tip in by Pondexter. I don't want to keep beating this dead horse, but they need to pass the ball. All this dribbling one-on-one, you're lucky that you get an offensive rebound right there. A bad shot is a turnover in the playoffs.
Hey, C-Web, Rudy Gay's 1 for 5. And a 3 by Foy, his 2nd of the game. So Gay taking a lot of shots lately, and they're not going in, but Foy with his 2nd 3, he and Mo Williams each have a pair of 3-point field goals. Conley in the lane against Reggie Evans. Beautiful.
Just as effective Chris Paul is in the fast court and going to the hole, I believe Conley can be that effective, especially with the 2nd unit out there. He can push the tempo, get himself involved, and if he can't get his shot off, he can get it to somebody wide open.
Foy against Gasol, trying to get it inside. Errant play, but saved by Bledsoe. Bledsoe with a fake. Mo Williams all day misses the 3. Had too much time.
Had too much time, wide open. The toughest shot to make in the game.
16-point lead. Here's Rudy Gay baseline. And Gay is going to try the fall away and hit.
Surprise, surprise. You pass it out, you repost, you get an easy shot, you make it and the team is in rhythm. That's the way this Memphis team needs to play. They don't have one-on-one players like that.
Timeout. Clippers, they're getting beaten each and every way so far in this game.
And how they're getting beat with team ball, not by one-on-one plays. Look, Rudy Gay hasn't been getting a good shot. He gives it to his point center, repost on the smaller boys, their rhythm and their process inside out.
Shaq is still on the bench, Shaq Randolph, but Marc Gasol is in there with Dante Cunningham, Rudy Gay, Quincy Pondexter, and Mike Conley. Williams will inbound to Bledsoe. He's got Griffin, Evans, and Foy. Five on the clock. And Mo Williams hitting the jumper. Williams has 8 points, including 2 threes, and is the Clipper leading scorer.
Williams is coming out here being aggressive. He's looking for a shot early. He's feeling it tonight, and you like seeing that by the guards of Clippers. See, the Clippers have moved to a zone now to kind of switch up the defense.
Cunningham.
And I think that was a great play by the Clippers. You want to give someone a jumper.
Wow! How about a stuff there?
You don't want to give that up if you're the opposing team. Way to run by Blake Griffin. And that's why you don't want to give up those jumpers. It causes cross matches when you come back down the court. You want to make sure that you still play your style of ball, no matter what defense they throw at you. Zone, man-to-man, it shouldn't matter.
Blake Griffin with 10 dunks. He was out-dunked by Andrew Bynum coming into this game by 1. And the layup inside the basket by Pondexter, who has 6 off the bench.
That's what I mean by playing the same way. It was a zone. It doesn't matter. Big man goes and occupies the post. Everybody has to look, fill the corner, have a cutter. Gasol will find you.
And how about 4 assists already for Marc Gasol? And in the lane, Griffin with a follow. Blake Griffin starting to become a little more aggressive inside now with 8 points. And still a 14-point Grizzly lead with under 5.5 to play in the second quarter.
That's why if you're Memphis, you realize you have to take good shots. Clippers has the athletes. As a matter of fact, they've proven it before that no lead is too big for them to come back from.
Gasol, clock running down, and there is Conley with a runner. And the rebound by Evans. Remember Chris Paul on the bench right now with Bledsoe in there getting some rest, and the Clippers trying to make some headway with their big guard on the bench. Here is Bledsoe firing a 2, and he makes the field goal. And now it's a 12-point game, 48-36.
You have to love it. That wasn't even a play. That was just straight penetration and spacing. And that's all you have to do in basketball. Drive the ball, attract 2 men, and get it away. And plus, if you have someone like this on your team, then it's easy to get some good shots because all you got to do is throw it up for the big man, and he'll throw it down.
8. So that's a good sign for the Clippers, who in game 1 were down by 18 after the first quarter, played even in the second and third before their mammoth comeback.
It's a very good indication for the Clippers, but if you ask Chris Paul, he believes this is how the Clippers should play all the time. He believes in Mo Williams and Bledsoe and Young. He says that they're capable of handling it when he's out the game. Good to see them executing.
Here's Gasol trying to get the foul, and he does. And Griffin right on him, and they're going to call it on Griffin, his second personal, with 4:36 remaining in the half.
And right now you see Griffin looking to coach. It's such a familiar feeling, saying, come on, coach, trust me, let me play these last 2 minutes, let me get a rhythm. And I know that Coach Del Negro is thinking about it because he does not want Griffin to go into that second half in foul trouble.
First free throw of the night. Attempt by Gasol is successful. So Marc Gasol, who was 1 for 4 and only 8 points in game number 4 already, has 13 on 6 for 8 shooting. 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and now adding his 14th point of the game.
And anytime, Dick, a player can have the numbers and stats he has tonight, there's no way you should only have 4 attempts, and that was what was questioning his aggression.
Blake Griffin fouled. So Blake Griffin is fouled by Gasol, his second. And right now, let's send it back to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson. All right. Thank you, Ernie. And Griffin making good on his first free throw of the game. Now, the Clippers were 10 for 10 to start the last game from the line, and then they went south, and they ended up 28 of 40. They had the worst free throw shooting average in the playoffs. Second worst in the season, but don't tell that to Griffin, who just hit a pair.
No, and you know what you can use these times for is really, you won't become a better free throw shooter all of a sudden, but at least you'll get used to the loud noise. At least you'll get used to the raucous crowd, those type of things that affect bad free throw shooters, and at least you get that experience in the playoffs.
Pondexter. Gasol tapped it out to game. New clock. Pondexter hit by Bledsoe, and Pondexter winds up in front of his own bench. Let's see how they call this. You know, the crowd's looking for a flagrant.
Choke.
No ruling yet. And a technical foul has been charged to Eric Bledsoe.
We talked to Coach Del Negro before the game about keeping your head, keeping your poise, and I said, with a guy like Reggie Evans, isn't it a luxury that the other teams have to worry about that? Well, tonight, his team has to worry about that. Bledsoe needs to keep his head. No, he was just frustrating throwing the ball up, but you know the rules. You know how to quell your frustration. That's inexcusable, especially in a playoff game that could be a closer for your team.
DeAndre Jordan is coming to the game, replacing Reggie Evans, and Conley on the line for the technical free throw. He makes good.
And right here, you know you can flip the ball to the ref. And truthfully, as a player, there's a few things you can do. You can roll the ball to the other end and make the ref go get it. You can act like it bounced off your foot. You know, there's ways to show your frustration and not show up the ref or show up the building. So, you know, definitely not a good move by Bledsoe. We've seen these games have come down to 1 and 2 points. So you can't just throw technicals around leisurely these days.
See what they're all precious, these points. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is back in the game. And he's guarding Conley with under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Tony Allen has also checked in, and he's stopped at the baseline by Butler with 7 on the clock. Here's Allen with a scoop and the rebound by Butler.
That's the intimidation of Jordan. Good drive there. But just seeing Jordan up there made him short arm the right-hand layup.
13-point lead. Clippers trying to narrow it before intermission. Here's Griffin against Gasol again. Here's Griffin against Gasol again. There's nothing there. Conley doing a great job in the corner on Mo Williams. And Mo Williams, who threw up a prayer for a three before, throws this one that hits the side and goes out of bounds to the Grizzlies.
Conley's effort on offense is helping his team, but his aggression on defense, getting his hand in the passing lane, making it tough for Williams. You just like seeing this by the point guard, matching the intensity of the other team's point guard. I would expect to see some high-low action. You got to keep Gasol and Zach. You can't let that momentum just be wasted that they got early in the game.
7 on the shot clock. Gasol loses the ball to Chris Paul. Gay is back. Goes to Butler in the corner. Good defense inside the three by Conley. Plenty of time on the shot clock. They repost to Butler with the turnaround. And Griffin tried to get the weak side rebound, couldn't control it, out of bounds. Memphis. And another timeout coming up. Beale Street, very popular. They've got jazz, they've got blues, and they've got
Their hands though most of the time, but a good, tough physical series. And I tell you what, I know that Memphis, and asking the two big fellas that they like it, they said the rougher, the better.
There you see how rough it's been with 14 technicals called, including one tonight on Eric Bledsoe. And Mike Conley will inbound. He's got Pondexter, Zach Randolph back in the game, Mike Gasol, and Rudy Gay.
I already love right here what Pondexter was trying to do, except he telegraphed his pass. What you're going to see in this zone defense, you're going to see one of the two big men, Gasol or Randolph, go high and look for the other big man ducking in weak.
Clippers changing it up. Here's Randolph back to Gasol. So Marc Gasol now with 16 points. He and Randolph have combined for 31.
That's what you love seeing. Even though it's a zone defense, three-pointer, to shoot a jumper, keep going to your bread and butter.
And that's a 3-second violation called on the Clippers, so it'll be a technical free throw by Paul and possession on the Grizzlies, that is. So that's the second miss from the line for Paul, who came into the game 22 of 24 from the line. It'll be Clipper ball. Interesting that with 2:13 to go in the first half, C-Web, Chris Paul has only 1 assist.
That is very interesting, especially the way he's been in control of these games during this series.
Inside to Jordan, who's fouled, DeAndre Jordan, who, like many of the Clippers, has struggled from the free throw line. At a little better than 50%. Will go to the line. The foul is on Conley, his first. Each team with 3 team fouls. So with 2:05 to go, each team has a foul to give. And here's Jordan, who's 1 for 6 from the line in the series. Add one to the right column, 1 for 7. Let's take a look at our series big board. Game 5 right here, and then if a game 6 is necessary, it'll be Friday back at the Staples Center. And the series could go 7. They will return to Memphis, but the Grizzlies, trailing 3-1, have to win 2 games to set that up. 1 free throw for Jordan, and it's 53-39 with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Each team has a foul to give in this final 2 minutes.
LA deciding to stay with the zone, even though Memphis has scored on the last 2 plays.
And trying to get it to Gasol, and Butler knocks the ball out of bounds with 7 on the shot clock. And they call the foul on Butler. So Butler got armed there.
All because of the high-low interior passing in the zone. You have to love it. Look, one guy goes low. The next guy, because it's his zone, is checked by a guard. And that's what you do every single time. Played with a guy named Vlade, and he was excellent at making that pass. And I know from experience that zone play works, especially when you have Gasol and Zach Randolph inside.
So that was their foul to give. Now it'll be a shooting situation for the Clippers. 4 on the shot clock. Gasol going baseline. And good defense by Blake Griffin that time. He bodied him and cut off the baseline. And driving inside is Caron Butler, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 with 1:29 remaining and a 14-point game. So they were down by 18 at one point, Chris. And if Butler can connect here, he'll knock it down to 12.
You know, Chris Paul only having 1 assist, maybe a little bit of a misnomer throwing you off there, because that play right there, 2 free throws, even though Butler didn't hit the first, was all because of Paul. Rand saw him, and a lot of point guards don't trust their other guards to get 2 or 3 dribbles. They have to give it to you with just 1 dribble. He trusted Butler that time. Butler made the penetration and got the foul.
1 out of 2. So it's a 13-point game. Under a minute and a half to go in the first half. Butler, good all-around game, as you see. Amazing that he came back with a fractured bone in his left hand and missed only 1 game when it looked like he was going to be out for weeks. Here's Gasol working against Jordan, has it stripped away by Paul, and fires it up and hits. And Gasol saying, "Where's the foul?" He put it up with 2 seconds to go. Tough defense, and out of bounds, and the Grizzlies call for the foul, and they'll shoot. Marc Gasol is beside himself after not getting a call here.
You have to love it. He's feeling he's getting knocked, bumped. Everybody's around him. He says, "Forget it. I'll just shoot it. Give me that thing." I don't know if he looks to the heavens or the crowds, but he says, "Thank you. I needed that, and I got fouled by mistake."
And then he commits a foul.
Frustration.
So here is Paul, who is 1 for 3 and now hits his 2nd free throw. And he'll try to make it a 13-point game. And in the final minute, Ahmad Haddadi will come in, and Gasol gets cheers as he goes to the bench frustrated. 18 points, 2 personal fouls, and a sensational 8 of 11 shooting half.
I think that's a good frustration for him. He's played well. He's just mad at the officials. Always good to go in the locker room mad at the officials, and you played well. But his substitution, Haddadi, played a great 12-minute stretch the last game. So they have guys capable coming off the bench for this Memphis team.
13-point game, Memphis in front. Need to win to stay alive and send us to a 6th game at the Staples Center.
Even though Gasol is out, Haddadi can fill that same position by filling the high-low, and you can run the same plays.
Here is Zach Randolph, and it's kicked out of bounds. Last touch by the Clippers. I'm sure Randolph really had control before he put that shot up.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He was just in that spot. I don't think he wanted to look around and didn't know how much time was on the shot clock. But that is his shot when his feet are set.
And with 40.5 remaining in the half, a timeout, 22nd timeout called by Lionel Hollins. Only on TBS. And for the latest, like us on Facebook. This is the promo you tried to sneak by me the other.
So did you listen to it, and then that's how you did it?
So I did it. I heard you do it.
I'm trying to be a good teammate.
Oh yeah, a little sneaky, but that's okay. Here's Conley with the ball. 16 seconds difference in the clocks.
Right here, Conley needs to make sure that he is the general.
Spates has it knocked away, and he gets it back. Spates going strong in and is fouled by Kenyon Martin, and will shoot two. There's a matter of deflections where the Clippers could have had a 2-on-1. Instead it went back to Spates, and he'll shoot.
And that's what I mean by the general. Really, you don't want to make that pass. You know, it would have been stolen right there. Really, you do not want to give that ball up if you're Conley, unless your man is wide open. You know your personnel better than anyone. You know who can dribble, who's supposed to shoot. Do not give the ball to any of your players when they are out of their scoring positions. It's just not time for it.
Spates has done a great job off the offensive glass. He has 12, 2 fewer than Zach Randolph in the offensive rebounding department. Hits the first free throw. The foul was on Martin, his second.
Have to love Spates' game. Not only is he going to bang in there with Martin and Jordan, but he's probably, along with Zach Randolph, their best big man jump shooter.
Zach will go to the bench, and by the way, he started 54 games for Zach Randolph when he was out with a knee injury, and Dante Cunningham replaces Zach Randolph. And the Clippers are going to bring in the shooting guard Foy, replacing DeAndre Jordan. So they're going small, and they've got good shooters with practically their possession the rest of the quarter.
You're exactly right. What they did is they're going to spread it with 4 guards, and it's Kenyon Martin's job to set picks and an offensive rebound.
They're spreading it out. Chris Paul picked up at the top by Pondexter. Ball going to work. Short on the fall away, and the shot tipped. Martin tried to get it up, but it was knocked away, and that'll do it. So the Grizzlies were up by 18, had their lead cut to 12, and wind up with a 15. All right, start of the third quarter. It'll be Conley Allen in the backcourt, and up front, Gasol with Rudy Gay and Zach Randolph. As Randolph and Gasol combining for 33 points on 14 for 18 shooting in the first half. Griffin has 2 fouls. And now another foul, and that will be 3 on him. Didn't take long, 15 seconds to pick up his 3rd personal foul.
You know, you hear the guys in the studio talk so much about post play, raising your game during the playoffs. This is really who Zach Randolph is. He's not the most athletic, meaning jumping high, can't jump out of the gym, but his positioning, the way he plays the post, he knows how to get his shots up, and just a tough guard for anyone, especially a guy like Blake Griffin who's athletic and feels I can block every shot he throws up.
Zach Randolph averaged 22 in the playoffs last year. This is his 4th postseason, played in 2 with the Portland Trail Blazers, and now 2 with the Grizzlies, as you see Griffin, who had 10 points on 4 for 7 shooting, and the only player in double figures for the Clippers, now with 3 personals.
And you talk about that play last year of Memphis going against San Antonio, and everybody said, where's that team, where's that team? Well, they're showing you who they are now by playing. This is the style they played last year and need to continue if they want to stay in this series.
And they beat the Spurs in 6 games, and the runner by Chris Paul. So Chris Paul now with 7 points. And he's going to have to get started, and the San Antonio Spurs are waiting in the wings for the winner of this series in the Western Conference best of 7 semifinals. And you're right, the Grizzlies won in 6 last year. Here's Randolph, Conley, a 3, and an air ball out of bounds, and it will go over to the Clippers.
Zach Randolph actually had an open shot there, passed it back and decided to get another pick to get a better shot. But right now, you need Conley taking those shots, even penetrating. You need him to keep the same identity, aggression, push to the hole, let your other teammates feed off you.
Caron Butler. Rebound by Randolph. 6 rebounds for Zach Randolph. Grizzlies had the big lead in game number 1 and squandered it right here. Allen off the rim. Griffin on the court playing despite the 3 personal fouls. Working his way in against Gasol, and he falls down and loses it out of bounds.
And that's why you can play with 3 personal fouls, because your other big man knows you're in foul trouble, and he can do just like he did on that possession, switch so you won't be in trouble of having to exit early in this game.
Allen from Gasol, Allen again, and Gasol had 4 assists in the first half, second to Conley's 5. And he is a true facilitator, so it's not just the scoring they expect him, and the foul is against Jordan.
And this is caused all by Zach Randolph. We didn't see that, but 2 guys, Foy and Griffin, were checking Zach Randolph, essentially leaving Allen open because they know Randolph is thirsty right now, meaning he wants to be in that paint, he wants to put it in the bucket. They double-teamed him before he touched the ball, which allowed Allen a wide-open layup.
Grizzlies shooting 54% right now, and the Clippers 39%. And good free throw shooting so far for the Grizzlies. They are 14 of 15 from the line.
Just the number of 15 free throw attempts shows their mind state. Going inside, not settling for jumpers, as they may have done in past quarters and games.
And they started the game that way.
Definitely, they definitely did, and it all starts with Gasol and Randolph. Those guys got to go into the hoop. The rest of the team follow.
And of course, the big question will be, can they do it for 4 quarters?
Exactly. And like you said earlier, who's that third guy today that's going to step up as well?
Foy and Conley staying with him, and Gasol runs into Gasol, loses the ball. So Gasol just stood there, and Foy lost it out of bounds.
Great job by the ref, letting them see. First half, if you remember, right before halftime, he had to go to the side. He's just there, a little bit slower than Foy, but there no less in position. Good non-call by the referee.
There the turnovers by the Clippers. They controlled it pretty well in the last game. Remember, they were the second best at protecting the ball in the regular year. And there is Conley, and a steal by Griffin. And Conley, Griffin gets it back. And a great touch pass on the pass back from Chris Paul. Good timing there. And Griffin now with 12 points on 5 for 8 shooting. And now it's a 15-point game. Gasol getting in, and no, offensive interference above the cylinder will turn it back to the Clippers.
There you see the weak side ducking. Nobody does that better than Memphis to me. Offensive goaltending, Allen just being a little bit over-aggressive.
And another turnover, and Conley will get this one to Gay. And Gay gets fouled, and it could have been a risky 3-point situation.
Well, I tell you what, I know Coach Hollins is not excited about that play. He showed his frustration on the side. You have to convert a layup. 2 is better than a foul. 2 is even better than maybe an and one, because you don't even know who's trailing. But I understand what Conley was doing. Conley was trying to get Gay involved because Gay is that missing link tonight. He wants him to get some those definite 2 and worry about getting his man involved a little bit later.
Gay has only 4 points on 2 for 6 shooting and making his first trip to the line. Gay has been the leading scorer in 3 of the 4 games for the Grizzlies so far. Tune into NBA Game Time on NBA TV for extensive highlights, insights, and analysis before and after every game. Also visit NBA.com at any hour for the latest playoff action. (17 of 18 for the Grizzlies. Gay makes both free throws. (17-point lead. Biggest margin was 18 for Memphis. We have just under 9 minutes remaining in the third. And the ball away by Paul. Griffin gets the offensive rebound, and a loose ball foul is called against the Grizzlies. But I would say overall, the Clippers are playing a little out of sync offensively.
They are, Dick, and I wonder why. Is it just because Chris Paul is out of sync, or is it because Tony Allen is doing a great job trying to keep the ball on one side, not letting Chris Paul have his dribble as long and as often as he would like. I think the whole team is keyed in saying somebody else besides Chris Paul is going to have to beat us tonight.
Conley with a second foul.
Even right there, you have to love how Allen denied him.
Here is Griffin trying to get in, loose ball. After he's fouled. And Caron Butler with his second foul.
And this is what I'm talking about. That little play by Allen not allowing Chris Paul. If we say Chris Paul is one of the top 10 players in the league, then what you want to do is not let him touch the ball. And a play like that, by just denying him face guarding, gives your team a defensive possession with a positive outcome.
And how about Allen with 3 blocks in the game? Here's Zach Randolph short with it. Tapped out by Gasol to Conley. Conley penetrating. Gets the layup. Conley now with 7 points. And a 19-point lead, and it's the biggest lead of the game for the Grizzlies. And the way they're playing and the way the Clippers are playing does not give you an indication that a huge comeback is in store, at least to this point.
No, it doesn't, but
it was 27.
It was 27, and it snuck up on us before.
Meanwhile, Gasol picks up his 3rd foul.
That's a tough call there for Gasol. You know, it looks like Griffin went into his body, but that's the part of the playoffs. You want to put the referees in a position to make a tough call. Did I foul him or did he foul me? So a great job by Griffin being aggressive.
He's playing with 3 personal fouls, and he misses that one. He's now 2 for 3 from the line.
But I'd still like to say, seeing Griffin in his first playoff series, watching him struggle in the first few quarters of game 1, all the way to playing so well the last few games and keeping his poise, this is what you want to see from your young superstar, learning and getting better every game in the playoffs.
You know, it's like Kevin Durant. He missed both. Kevin Durant in his first playoff series against the Lakers.
Yes.
And look how he has matured. And here is Foy, guarded by Allen, picked up by Randolph. Griffin, free, stuffs it through.
That was a wonderful pass by Jordan and a defensive lapse by Memphis. It is no way you have a guy that you let shoot every jump shot. Everybody backs off, but he gets a wide open pass to one of the best finishers in the league. Defensive breakdown by Memphis in that play.
Gasol baseline has a block by Jordan out of bounds. And it's last touched by the Grizzlies, and here come the Clippers back.
Look for Chris Paul to be very aggressive. His face and his body language said that he's going to try to make sure he's more involved.
And Jordan is fouled, and that was Conley purposely making sure Jordan was not going to get the lay-in, but will have to go through the line, where he has really struggled from the free throw stripe.
Great job right there by Conley. But right here with Chris Paul, you see now he's going to be aggressive. He wanted Blake to shoot it, but look at that high-low passing, and good job by Conley not letting him get it above his head to try to get the half one.
Now, was it in the act of shooting? And it was not.
Oh. So
it is not a shooting foul, and the Clippers will take it out of bounds.
You mentioned the poor free throw shooting. The shooting of this Clippers team is so horrendous that I'm surprised you haven't seen hack a clip yet. And every Clipper big man, maybe late in the game, maybe it's something we see. Coach Hollins alluded to a couple of surprises we might see in the 4th quarter. Maybe that is one, but you're right. The free throw shooting of this Clippers team could be their downfall if you make them own up to it and get to that line.
Well, in Game 3, they really struggled down the stretch.
Yes.
And it might have cost them the game. And then Rudy Gay, who had hit 2 threes, missed the 3.
Yes.
And the Clippers survived by a point, but it could have cost them there.
Yes, it could have.
And there's a foul as Foy, with a long-range foul, 3 shots coming up for Randy Foy.
The reason why you have to play discipline is because the Clippers don't believe in you anyway. The Clippers have already come back from 27 down. They don't believe you can hold this lead, so you must execute.
And Conley now has picked up his 4th foul. So Conley has 4. Gasol has 3, and O.J. Mayo will come in for Conley, who goes out. He has scored 7 points on 3 for 7 shooting, and came in the game as a 50% shooter for Memphis.
O.J. Mayo or Allen has to decide. One of them has to be the facilitator. You don't have Conley on the floor. Neither one of them are fast or as good at penetration. So they must keep team play involved in their minds by passing the ball, getting it back in, making sure guys repost, but not going to one-on-one play just because Conley's on the bench. That is not how you got this lead so far.
Boyd trying to make it 3 straight free throws and cut the lead to 14. So Conley is on the bench. Foy makes 3. Knocked away by Foy, and they'll call Foy with a foul on Gasol. And now the Clippers are in the penalty, and Gasol will shoot 2.
So fortunate right here. This is what I mean. You know, a point guard has to know his personnel, also has to know the other team knows you have 2 big guys up, and it's the 2 guards' responsibility to try to steal that ball from Gasol. Very fortunate that Memphis is in the penalty this early in the game. That is really a luxury.
And of course, you want to make a gamble and you want to try to take the ball away, but you know you're starting to creep in there, and Conley's on the bench. A very untimely foul, I would think, there, giving Memphis a chance to get too easy.
Very untimely foul. And if you ask Foy, if he would have got there a second early, it would have been a layup and an easy 2 for the Clippers.
Here's Conley on the bench. So it's the Mayo and Allen in the backcourt, and 20 points for Marc Gasol. And has he awakened in this game number 5? Most points he had coming into this game in the series was 14. Here is Foy, misses a 3. And the rebound by Randolph.
Really nice shot by Foy, but the key for the Clippers to get back in this game is heavy doses of Chris Paul and whatever he decides to get the ball to him.
Caron Butler guarding Gay. Butler got a hand on it. They go baseline as he goes up. Zach Randolph has been tremendous for the Grizzlies in this back-to-the-wall game for them. Foul is against Jordan, DeAndre's 3rd.
Nobody has been more disappointed with themselves on this team than their leader, Zebo, who has been hurt, frustrated most of the year. Spates came in, did a great job for him, but he just kept saying that he just needs to find his rhythm, needs a couple lucky bounces to go. And tonight, with his first shot, it was a lucky bounce, and he seemed to carry that momentum through the rest of the game.
5 for 6 from the line. This is the first free throw.
Look for the Clippers as well to speed up the pace. Whenever they speed up the pace, is listening to the halftime show, Charles said they're not a great half-court team, so they need right now to speed up the pace so that they don't have to play half-court, that the game is more to their liking. And then that just does what? Gives Chris Paul a chance to be the best point guard in basketball, which arguably he is.
Hard to do it after made baskets, but you can do it other times. Here's Foy driving and going out to Paul. 6 on the shot clock. Allen is on Chris Paul. Stops him from getting anything off. Here's Foy with a runner. Too hard off the glass.
Great defensive series there.
Inside to Allen. Allen to Zach Randolph. And could not control it. He lost it to Blake Griffin. Here is Paul in the corner. Fake. Unable to get the shot off is Foy. Loose ball. Here's Allen. 4-on-1. Gay. Knocked away, but Gay recovers. Paul got a hand on the shot and knocked it away, but Rudy Gay recovered and got the basket. And the Grizzlies have their biggest lead of the game. Timeout call.
You have to love this. Great defense. You see Mayo, Zach Randolph. Now you can close your eyes at home because this is the ugliest fast break you're ever going to see. But it is effective. Only matters that you get this, Paul. Get that ball.
You know, see, when we talked about the pride that Paul had against Allen in Game 4 when Allen was on him and responded with 27 points. How about the pride Allen has tonight with his defense? 2 steals, including the last one to set up a break, and 3 blocks. And here's a 3 missed by Caron Butler.
You know, once again, the guys in the studio the other day were talking about adjustments. And I think this is when adjustments come into play. Not just game 1, 2, and 3, but what happens to us, maybe to a principle that didn't work, but you have to try it again. So great job by Memphis of readjusting, making sure they did a gladiator fight inside that paint. That's their style. Fight inside the paint and let everything else happen whenever it happens.
Kick ball there. Remember, we talked about it at the outset. We said, who's going to step up as the third scorer for the Clippers? Well, who's going to step up as the second scorer for the Clippers? Griffin has 14, the only player in double figures for L.A.
Guess we can't assume. You're totally right.
No. Here's Mayo against Griffin, playing with 3 fouls, and O.J. Mayo, who is 2 for 15 in the last 2 games and early in this game, hits the field goal. So he has had a long drought, but a timely field goal there. 7-0 run by the Grizz, and they have opened up a 21-point lead, their biggest of the game. We've seen this before, but they're playing strong, and Caron Butler going up, and the foul is called against Butler, charging into Gasol, and Blake Griffin making sure Marc Gasol was all right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Marc Gasol steps outside, gets a charge. We see a little incidental contact right there. Griffin steps on him, but everybody's playing well together. Griffin did not do it on purpose. He also made sure he came over and told Gasol that. Gasol even said, I know you didn't, but when the crowd reacts, he has to make sure the crowd knows he's on their side. But a great defensive play by an on-the-ground defender, and Gasol being able to step over and take the charge.
Butler with 3 fouls, and Gasol and Randolph a combined 38 points tonight, and Griffin and Paul combined 21. Technical foul called against Chris Paul.
And he looks over and he tells me something I won't repeat. But you know what's funny, Dick, is that the last time Chris Paul got a technical in game 1.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know if he's playing possum or if he's doing it to make himself mad. But anything Chris Paul does, I believe there's a method to his madness, and he knows how to get his players pumped up. And it's not just physical in the paint. Look at this. It's not just physical in the paint. He doesn't like the fact that it was called, and he says, okay, next time he does that, I'm going to throw a bow up. And he was just barely missed, and that might have scared him more than actually getting that forearm shipping.
And Mayo made the free throw. And a technical foul on Caron Butler.
Caron asked for that as well. I saw him tell the official, thank you, give that to me. And he's shaking his head up and down. Don't know if this is a good strategy, but it seems to be a strategy.
Third technical foul as Mayo misses that free throw. Called against the Clippers tonight. Bledsoe, Paul, now Butler.
And you see right here, you know you're supposed to give 3 feet. Butler's talking to the ref, still complaining about the last call.
Chewing on his jersey as they foul the ball. 22-point lead. Here is O.J. Mayo, and the rebound by Griffin. Here's Paul. The Grizzlies are back defensively. Mayo behind him, knocks the ball away, and timeout is called. So Chris Paul called a timeout before he was tied up by O.J. Mayo. But it's been a Memphis game, and this crowd knows how.
It's okay. I think that it's okay to be mad. It's okay to play with that anger, especially after you've seen it be successful one time in game 1. But you just want to make sure, Dick, it doesn't get out of control.
I think he's aware. I mean, we've seen what he does on the court and helping other guys, coaching other guys on the court. He knows what he's doing. It's a rough game for him with only 2 field goals and 2 assists, and the scoreboard shows it. Butler will inbound to Paul. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Here's Caron Butler from the baseline.
Gasol has been doing a wonderful job cutting off that baseline. Every time there's been a man that beat his man from the corner and get there. Caron Butler, it happened with twice.
Here's Zach Randolph looking for the foul, none coming. Reggie Evans inside defending. We have Butler along with Evans, Paul, Griffin, and Mo Williams. The Clippers are shooting 36% from the field, and an offensive foul calls. So everything is going against Vinny Del Negro and the Clippers' way. They are being outplayed, and some of it unforced.
And you're right. And you know why this is so surprising? Not that Reggie Evans is playing well, but that he's been out physically playing the Memphis team. This is what you usually would expect. You frustrating him, getting him to want to be physical with you. First time it's happened in this series so far.
Evans foul. Here is Rudy Gay. Diving for the loose ball. And the foul is called against the Clippers. And Mo Williams is upset. And he better watch out, otherwise he'll get a technical. And they've given one to Vinny Del Negro. 4 technicals called against the Clippers in this game. And Mark Ivaroni is making sure Vinny doesn't get a second and ejection here.
Yeah, as you look at this, it's just a lot of hustle right here. You're going to see Allen get it to Gasol, and this is where the play happens. Williams feels he was just going for the ball. Mo was. Don't believe a technical was warranted for talking to the ref that way.
And Williams got a technical as well as Del Negro. 5 technical fouls called against the Clippers. O.J. Mayo makes 1 out of 2. And this team just has to settle down.
You're right, Dick. When you talk about Chris Paul being aware, we can trust that he's aware. But do the other players take his technicals as a license for them to go crazy? And we see him right now telling everybody to calm down. But you just don't want other players to go off of his emotion, because you know he's aware, but you don't know if the other players are aware.
23-point lead for the Grizzlies, 74-51. Gasol. Here's Paul and Vinny Del Negro pleading their case with Bill Spooner, and 1 out of 2 for Gasol with under 3 minutes to go. The Clippers have been held scoreless in the last 4 minutes and 15 seconds. And there's Mo Williams hitting a 3 from the corner. That's his 3rd 3 of the game.
All that was Chris Paul changing gears, getting the ball to an open man. No play allowed, no play called.
O.J. Mayo with a scoop shot, and Blake Griffin tried to knock it off of Cunningham, and apparently successful at that as the Clippers get the ball back. Quincy Pondexter will come in replacing Rudy Gay, who goes out with 8 points for the Grizzlies. And timeout called by the Clippers. They're down by 21.
Going on in this game tonight.
5 in all for the Clippers. 2.5 to play in the 3rd. Williams with Griffin, Evans, Paul, and Nick Young into the game now for LA. Allen fouls Paul. And that'll be a shooting situation for Chris Paul, who has 7 points tonight on 2 for 7 shooting. Only 3 assists. An uncharacteristic contest for Chris Paul, who Lionel Hollins said before the game, without question, one of the top 10 players in the league, and he's showing why in this series.
Definitely, and not only one of the top 10 players in my opinion, but top 5 in not having to score, but can help your team out and influence them in so many positive ways. So him having a bad shooting night, to me, doesn't say anything else except some shots have gone in and out. But as long as there's time, it's time for him to get other guys involved, and we know he pulls tricks out the bag all the time.
The Memphis Grizzlies, of course, have been a dominant team at home this year. Said they had won 11 in a row before their upset loss in Game 1. Paul with the 2 free throws, now with 9. And a steal by Paul. Mayo is back, and he's called for the blocking foul, and Chris Paul will go to the stripe again.
Great job by Chris Paul of taking advantage of a 2-guard, dribbling the ball. Conley is the main ball handler of this Memphis team. Once he's on the bench, ball handling might be a weakness on this Memphis team, and you see automatically Chris Paul picking up the defense at half court, getting the steal.
Led the NBA in steals for the 4th time in 5 years. TNT this June. The end is just the beginning. From executive producer Steven Spielberg and DreamWorks Television, Falling Skies. Don't miss the 2-hour season premiere, Sunday, June 17th at 9, 8 Central, only on TNT. And for the latest, like us on Facebook. Paul with 4 free throws in the last 14 seconds. 17-point lead.
Love the adjustment that Memphis made right there. They had a turnover. What do? They put Gilbert Arenas in the game so they can have another ball handler who can score as well.
He's got the ball. He's got the shot. 3-point attempt missed. Blake Griffin. And a minute, 40 seconds. Bo Williams. Getting it back from Griffin. Griffin working his way in. Fouled by Gasol. And Gasol picks up his 4th foul. And Griffin holding on to his left knee. Blake Griffin.
Reggie Evans just called for the trainer to come over.
Griffin missed the 09-10 season with a knee injury. The #1 overall pick in 09 has not missed a game since, but holding on to the left knee.
I don't care what time of the season it is, what the stakes you're playing for are as an opponent. Injuries, because you know it can happen to you at any time.
And we're not going to project here because we know, but look how injuries have affected the playoff series. And we can go down the line, and of course leading the way, Derrick Rose with the Chicago Bulls, and then you can talk about others as well.
You're just so right, Dick. No, I'm not saying that he's hurt. I just mean guys on that bench, they're looking and saying, wow, I'm a big fan of his. I hope he's not hurt as well.
I think the Grizzlies are hoping he's not hurt as well. Really,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
no matter what the stakes are, you don't want to see someone go down. Even if you don't know if they're hurt, you just don't want to win that way. You don't want anybody to go through it because it can happen to anyone at any time.
It's a fraternity you guys have.
It definitely is. And, you know, even things like this, just as a player, I just don't like watching him hold it. He could be okay, and it may not be a problem, but just certain things you just don't like to see your comrades do, and that's one thing, holding, you know, body parts because they may be hurt.
Hey, you've been there.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And even the guys on the other team wish me well going off that court. That's how I know you don't want to see anybody hurt. And I think it's very classless of these people booing a man as he walks off the floor, not knowing if he's hurt or okay. That should change the cheers very soon. Well, that's a very classless act by these fans who have more class than that.
Let's see if Griffin stays on the bench or goes into the locker room. And question is, will he shoot the free throws? That is the same knee that he injured 3 years ago.
You know, Dick, these free throws are so important because if he does not shoot the free throw, he cannot come back in. So it is very important. Free throw, he cannot come back in. So it is very important to see if he's healthy enough to come shoot the free throws, then get looked at by the medical staff. Right here you see another look, and if you look right here, his left foot gets caught. The right foot is awkward. You can't guesstimate at what happened, but you don't like seeing that. And Chris Paul is going to try to take advantage of this technical free throw.
So the technical foul, and then if he can't shoot the free throw, Lionel Hollins gets to pick who does shoot the free throw. The technical foul was on Marc Gasol, and Paul made good there. And here comes Griffin. Going to come out and shoot it. And look at Chris Paul walking with him.
Oh, and look at Chris Paul. Chris Paul went to the bench and said, you better come shoot this free throw if you're available to, because you can't come back in if you don't.
First career playoff double-double, and the foul, the technical on Gasol was for complaining to the official. And Griffin makes the free throw.
He's still working that knee, doing a couple knee bends there at the free throw line before he gets the free throw.
Gasol on the bench with his 4th foul. And Griffin, 1 out of 2, stays in the game. Check what kind of condition you think he may be in, C-Web.
Definitely don't like this gait. When you have knee problems, it's hard to stop. Saw him skipping down, which means he doesn't have to run so fast and stop on the dime. Hopefully it'll loosen up as the game goes on.
Spates shooting over Evans, hits. Maurice Spates giving the Grizzlies a 17-point lead as we wind down to a minute remaining in this 3rd quarter. 5 technical fouls on the Clippers and 1 on the Grizzlies. Pondexter with the steal with under a minute to play. Mayo inside to Spates, and they got all ball there. Great play. Nick Young comes out with it and gets credit for the block. Half a minute to go, and a 3 by Chris Paul. Paul hitting his first 3-point basket of the game now with 15 points. Griffin also has 15.
Griffin just doesn't look too good, Dick, the way he's running.
You're right. Gamely hanging in there, C-Web.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
14-2 run, and it's a 14-point game. And there's a steal again by Paul. Chris Paul blocked by Mayo out of bounds. And they're going to count the basket. Goaltending called against Mayo. And credit the basket to Chris Paul.
Great effort on both ends. Look at Paul. The speed, get there. And Mayo says, I'm not going to give that up. Don't know how you can judge that, but great play, great block, great goaltending.
Yeah, that was a great play by Mayo.
Definitely.
Because he had a long way to run, and a 14-2 run in the last 3 minutes. And now a 12-point game. Here's Mayo scooping it up. And it comes down to Paul. Paul's shot as the clock winds down. And the Los Angeles Clippers, who have a hobbled Blake Griffin in there, down by 24 at one point, have come back to halve the deficit, 77-65. Do the Clippers have another miraculous comeback in them? We'll see. 4th, and let's send it over to Jamie Maggio.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach, we've seen what this Clippers game can do in the 4th quarter. How do you preserve a 12-point lead?
We just got to keep being aggressive, stay poised, stay confident, and play our game. We can't get caught up in the nonsense and get technical fouls and all the stuff that's been going on in the 3rd quarter.
All right, Coach, thank you.
And we're underway in the 4th quarter. 12-point game. Nick Young short with it, and Spates trying to save it, and barely does. Chris Paul, by the way, had 10 points in the last 2:20 to key the 14-2 run, C-Web.
I guess that technical really helped him out there.
Spates, big basket. A 2-point field goal for Maurice Spates.
Get a little more outside shooting when Spates is in the game. Probably their best big man shooter. Did a great job this year filling in for Zach. Getting more time in this game.
Clippers were down by 24 at one point. 75-51. Cut it to 12, and now Spates gets the first field goal. And coming back is Williams missing the shot for the Clippers.
Memphis put Pondexter on Chris Paul that time to give him a little size. Defensive matchup switch up.
And Spates, no basket. Game 1, Clippers trailed by as many as 27 points. And they were down by 21 going into the 4th quarter. That was a historic comeback, to be sure. And tonight, they've been down by as many as 24. Foul was on Evans, his 3rd. Here is Conley. Conley playing with 4 fouls, as is Gasol, who's out on the court, and a block made by Martin out of bounds. Kenyon Martin has been a superb shot blocker in this series.
Kenyon Martin just shows you that he's still a defensive problem in this league. Even if you drive on him, he doesn't have to come from the weak side to block it. He's an on-the-ball defender. Good job by Martin.
5 seconds for the Grizzlies to attempt a shot. Here's Zach Randolph over Reggie Evans. And Paul the rebound. Dick Stockton, Chris Webber, Jamie Maggio here. Game 5 here at the FedEx Forum in Memphis. Clippers with a win would wrap up this series in 5. Grizzlies trying to stay alive, and the runner by Mo Williams. And now it's down to 12 again. Last time the Clippers were down by 12, other than a moment ago, was with 4 minutes left in the second.
What type of poise, what type of mental mind state do these Memphis Grizzlies have? Are they going to bail out with easy shots, or are they going to go inside out like they've been doing?
And Gay turns it over. Moran Butler doing the job. And here is a 3 missed by Williams. Rebound offensively by Reggie Evans, and he's fouled, and he'll go to the line. Clippers are 18 of 25 from the free throw line. Evans is 31% in this series from the line. Jamie, you have an update on Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Dick, it appears that Blake Griffin hyperextended his left knee. The medical staff is examining him now on the end of the bench. His return is questionable.
All right, thank you, Jamie.
You know, Dick, the difference between now and the first half, teams have switched roles. Memphis is going inside out, playing together team ball. Chris Paul wasn't playing that well. Second half, Chris Paul getting everyone else involved. Memphis not playing team ball. 2
free throws by Evans. He's a 31% shooter in this series. A good one now. It's a 10-point game, 79-69. Just the start of things here in the fourth in Spates. And the rebound coming down to Martin.
To my point, they haven't even done a pick and roll, passing it back to Rudy Gay for a long jumper. But you do that to Spates, who's a big guy. You're not playing the ball that got you here.
Clippers can make it a single-digit deficit here. And Evans, hard off the glass, had the opportunity there. Three minutes gone by in the fourth. Conley tried to get it to Zach Randolph. So 2 straight turnovers by the Grizzlies. And Lionel Hollins wants to settle things and call a timeout. And Blake Griffin appears that he's heading back into the game.
Better. Don't give him any confidence. Work.
Well, they've done it before, so they have the proof in the past. Marc Gasol in the game with his 4 fouls. It's an 18-4 run for the Clippers. Chris Paul hits the shot, and it's a single-digit game, 79-71.
Great adjustment by Vinny Del Negro. He said, I'm not going to have Chris Paul play the point. We're going to put him on the baseline, set a screen, treat him like a 2-guard so he can come off looking for the score.
And remember, Randolph and Gasol, what they did early, they've been out of the offense. Neither has a second-half field goal in this game. Conley also back with his 4 fouls. Here's Rudy Gay against Nick Young, and Gay with a pretty move over Young.
That's what you need the rest of the game. Gay needs 10 more of those, 20 more of those. No more jump shots, no more not playing together for this Memphis team, but go at their advantage, which is Gay on Young in the post.
And the question is, offensively, when they get the ball back, will they go out of character as they have throughout the series in the fourth quarter? Williams with Griffin with the second effort. And Conley with a great save.
And you talk about out of character. The Grizz had 18 field goals in the paint in the first half. In the second half, 2.
Here is Zach Randolph. Now Gasol. 7 on the shot clock and an offensive foul called against Randolph as Evans staggering, getting up now.
Saw that coming the whole way. First he denied him before this. Then he set himself up to get ready. And believe me, if both guys were going to post up, he wouldn't go down like that. But because he wanted that charge, and I don't believe that's flopping either. He wanted that charge. He held his position, and he showed the ref, listen, I was here first. He took my space.
Crowd getting a bit anxious here. They have seen this scenario before, but a loss here will eliminate Memphis. 10 on the shot clock, plenty of time. Mo Williams fires and hits. Mo Williams again makes it an 8-point game. 15 for Mo Williams. So if you want to talk about the third scorer, he's emerged. Paul with 19, Griffin 15, Williams 15.
Williams been aggressive since the get-go, and that's what you need. Another penetrator and knockdown shooter to be aggressive.
Conley picked up by Griffin on the switch. Rudy Gay shooting over Caron Butler, and it off of the hands of Chris Paul. Out again, and a new clock for the Grizzlies. Pondexter aggressive there. 7 on the clock. Gasol, and here's Gay. And Rudy Gay missed, just got net. It was nothing but net, but not the way you want the net to be.
Definitely not the way. A lot of pressure is being put on Rudy Gay. I think he needs to learn in the playoffs. Get to your spot, take easy shots. Less pressure on you.
Making his playoff debut in this series. Memphis, meanwhile, 0 for 5 C-Whip from three-point range.
As Coach Hollins told us first game, three-pointers aren't their bread and butter. Inside out is.
And Mo Williams, how hot is he? 17 points for Mo Williams. 9 coming here in the second half. A 10-2 run, and it's a 6-point game. And this crowd on his feet is stunned right now. It was a 24-point lead at one point, but Conley winds up on the floor after banking that in on a pretty layup.
Definitely a pretty layup. Let's keep our eye on Chris Paul, who I watched tweak. Either it's his right hamstring quad, something on the right side of his body, trying to get loose. Let's see how that affects him and his aggressiveness late in the game.
Conley is guarding Mo Williams, who's been a terror here. He's hot, and misses this time. And Conley, or Pondexter, trying to save it. And Evans winds up with the ball. Plenty of time on the clock. They didn't have to rush the shot. It was 16 seconds, and Mo Williams fired it up. He must have thought the clock was running down. But an 8-point game now. Anyone's game, and are these fans a bit nervous?
In Memphis, you need to remember, not the lead that you have had, but the lead that you have. Stay patient, stay poised, go back inside out.
Rudy Gay. It's a one-man show here, but he got the basket. Rudy Gay gets the field goal and handled the ball throughout that possession.
Great result, great drive by him, but it's still not the possession you want. This is playoff basketball. You don't want one player dribbling around unless it's Chris Paul for more than 15 seconds.
Lead is 10. Mo Williams firing a three. And the rebound taken down by Pondexter. So Williams shot the Clippers back in the game, but he has missed 3 in his last 3 attempts. And now the Grizzlies with a 10-point lead and the ball with 4:20 to go. Conley pick and roll to Gasol, and Evans the rebound.
Good job by Evans coming over there to where Gasol has been coming for baseline help. Putting Gasol in a tough position, not being able to finish that easy 5-footer.
Boyd defended by Pondexter. Now Gasol coming out. Griffin is trying to set a screen. Boyd going down the lane. This is the layup, knocked out of bounds. And it's last touched by the Grizzlies with 2.2 seconds on the clock. And Chris Paul with a quick breather will replace Foy in the lineup. Has 19 points on 5 for 10 shooting, 3 assists and 4 rebounds. An off game for him compared to the others, but this one ain't over. And there is the field goal, a 2-point basket by Mo Williams. And again, the Grizzly lead is down to 8.
When you have less than 5 seconds on the shot clock, unless they throw it up to the rim and it's a tip, there's no excuse for a pick-the-picker action that you see all year and a wide-open jump shot. Not in the playoffs. Miscue by the Grizzlies.
Gay looking to Zach Randolph denied by Reggie Evans. Here is Gasol. Battled for the loose ball, and that's what Lionel Hollins told us before the game. We're not getting to those loose balls when it's contested.
You're right. Lionel Hollins said we need second, third, fourth, fifth effort plays, and we're not doing them. I said that's not characteristics of a Grizzlies team. He said, I know.
Pondexter committing the foul on Paul.
And right here, Mo Williams, he shot him in it, shot him out of it, and he's trying to shoot him right back in it. Anytime you come off a pick and roll like that or off a screen-to-screener action out of bounds, it should always be defended well, especially with a short shot clock.
Only 2 team fouls for each club with 3 minutes remaining in regulation. Paul guarded by Pondexter, a good defender. Clock running out. Paul fires it up and misses the 3. Pondexter did the job on Paul there.
And he's been doing the job all this second half. It's been Pondexter's main responsibility since Allen went out early in the third to shadow Chris Paul. He's doing a great job of that.
Remember, Randolph and Gasol still no field goals in the second half. Here is Conley going behind the line. Long rebound, and Paul has it. 2.5 to play, and the lead is 8. LeBron Butler. And Pondexter gets the rebound. That's his 7th rebound. And the Clippers settling for outside shots now.
Pondexter doing a great job playing defense, keeping them in the game because they are not making the most of their offensive possessions, them being the Memphis Grizzlies.
Neither team shooting well in the 4th. 4 on the shot clock, under 2 minutes to play. And Zach Randolph too far under the hoop to get the layup. So once again, the Clippers with another chance, down by 8. Each team has a foul to give. And here is Williams with the runner, and the rebound taken down by Rudy Gay. So an 8-point lead, and Memphis ball once again. And a foul called against Reggie Evans. Not a shooting foul as Chris Paul goes to the bench. He has a foul to give, but Chris Paul may have aggravated his groin injury on a play here.
And you look at it, this is the last play, and to tell you how he did it, this is not how he did it, but this is how it hurts. He can't do a one-on-one move, he passes it, and look at his body language. He's still outside the three-point line, holding that groin, and I think this is where it happened. In there messing with the big guy, Zach Randolph. Look right here when he comes down for the rebound, watch him grab himself, and right there you see maybe that's where he injured himself again.
So Paul, with aggravating a groin injury, is on the bench, and Blake Griffin, who hyperextended his left knee, but he's out there. It's an 8-point game. Conley driving in, and the rebound by Evans. The Clippers had closed the deficit to 6. They've hit 1 of their last 9, now 1 out of 10. Evans gets the offensive rebound with a minute to go in regulation. Here is Foy with the layup. So after going 1 for 10, Foy hits the basket, and it's a 6-point game, 2-possession game, but there's nothing Chris Paul can do about this right now.
No, it's not, and right now you see Mo Williams trying to deny Conley the ball, make other ball handlers handle it because they're missing their main guy.
Clippers have no fouls to give, and now the loose ball foul by Williams will send Zach Randolph to the free throw line to shoot 2.
You see right here, anticipating Mo Williams trying to get that steal. I know he wishes he was there a step earlier, but great job by Los Angeles trying to make sure that the main and primary ball handler, Conley, doesn't have the ball, putting pressure on the other 4 guys on Memphis.
So here is Chris Paul, who is the court general and has been dominant in the series on the bench. Zach Randolph, 6 of 8 from the free throw line.
The only reason that you would suspect that this injury may be hurt is because Chris Paul, who was hurt in the first game of the series, told coach when they were down 27, do not take me out, and you see him on the bench still with time to come back in this game.
A strained groin is the report on Paul. 1 out of 2 from the line. Gay trying to save it, and does. big save by Rudy Gay on the miss.
That's
Free
that
throw.
second, third, fourth hustle play you heard Coach Collins talk about before the game that he wanted to see out of his team.
And here is Conley beating Gay. Clock a big factor against the Clippers here. And Gay gets the lay-in, and that may do it with 19.1 in a timeout. Rudy Gay with 6 in the fourth quarter, and a 9-point Grizzlies lead. Clippers have no more timeouts. Grizzlies have 3 timeouts and a foul to give. Here is Williams. And Gasol gets a piece of it, and a foul is called against Conley. That'll be 5 on Conley. And Mo Williams will go to the line to shoot 2. His first time at the line tonight. To update the Blake Griffin injury, a hyperflexed left knee, strained groin for Chris Paul. The big 1-2 punch, unable to do much.
Even though he had that hyperextended knee, and I'm sure he was in pain, he felt they could come back. Griffin tried to play through it. We've seen the toughness of this Clippers team before. Still amazes me, Dick, every time I hear beat LA and I'm in the building with the Clippers.
And normally it was at Boston Garden. I think I heard that a few times.
Right, yeah.
Missed free throw, costly. And a foul. Gasol is fouled, and the Memphis Grizzlies fans who were biting their nails to the quick not that long ago can begin to exhale right now as the Grizzlies appear on their way to a much-needed victory to stay alive in this series and send this really hotly contested series back to LA Friday for a 6th game.
We don't see any of that panic on the face of these Memphis fans that we saw walking around town all day today. In a little bit of a better position right now.
Gasol with 21 points on 8 for 14 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and he emerged. He came back strong in this game.
He did, and Coach Hollins said Gasol needs to be aggressive. He needs to ask for the ball, demand it like Rudy Gay and Zach Randolph does. Did a wonderful job in the first half. I want to see if next game he's that aggressive for a full 48 minutes.
He makes them both. The lead is 10. And Mo Williams falls down, loses the ball, and Pondexter is fouled. Well, we want to thank our production and technical crew for a great job in the games we've covered so far. We want to thank our executive producer of Turner Sports, Memphis native Jeff Benke, our producer Tom Heitz, our director Renardo Lowe, our senior associate director Dave Olszewski, and the graphics producers Donzel Floyd and Carl Cronenberger, and our statistician Marty Aronoff. Thanks to everyone here for their efforts, and in Los Angeles for the games we have covered in this series.
And in case you didn't know, Dick, the fans here are telling you the schedule for the rest of the series. So
okay. Checking to see whether it was a clear path foul for Pondexter. Gasol with 23, Randolph 19, Gay with 14. And right now Mo Williams is the scoring leader for the Clippers with 20 in the game 1 upset. Nick Young had 19 to lead the team. Paul had 19, Griffin 15, and Foy with 11 points, but 37% shooting for a team coming in that was shooting 50% from the field.
Yeah, they're looking for this clear path foul because as the ball is loose, they want to see if anybody else is in the picture, anybody in front of it. If they're looking at that angle, that's going to be a rough one to judge it off of. He had Rudy Gay, Pondexter had Rudy Gay and Allen running the lanes ahead of him, looking for that grand slam, send the Holmes happy dunk. And that's why they're looking into it. They don't know where these guys were as opposed to Pondexter with the ball.
Now Pondexter will get 2 shots in any event, but if it's a clear path foul, they'll get possession, of course, after the 2 free throws as well. Clear path foul has been ruled, and so Pondexter will have 2 free throws, and the Grizzlies will have the ball. And a lot of people think the Grizzlies could have had the 3-1 lead if it weren't for 2 one-point victories in the overtime triumph, but the Clippers have been a game team. They were down by 24 at one point, narrowed it to 6, but that's as far as they went.
And for the Clippers, you have to remember the same thing that makes you laugh makes you cry. So when you go back home, the same way you came in and you won those games on the road, you need to realize the same thing can happen to you. Come in with your best effort and execute.
Pondexter with 8 points, 7 rebounds, good defense, final seconds of this game. And that'll do it. And the Memphis Grizzlies stay alive. And they defeat the LA Clippers 92-80 to force the 6th game of the series. Clippers in front 3-2. They'll play Friday at the Staples Center. Chris Paul, question is, how is his groin injury? And of course, Blake Griffin with the hyperflex knee. A lot of issues that have to be discussed when we go into our next game.